Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here. Welcome to another episode. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Also, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Get your free AI resource below, because that resource will unlock for you the opportunity to participate for free in a beta course that I've put together. And this course is going to give you the opportunity to pivot your career from what you're doing now to an AI-safe career, because major job disruption, is on the horizon, and short term, 2025 or sooner. And today's discussion is an interesting example, not necessarily of short-term disruption, but of short-term profound change. And I'm going to have to do some reading here, so forgive me. But EdTech startups across the globe are riding a wave of investor optimism to push forward advances in almost every corner of education. Globally, startups in the education space raised a record $13.3 billion so far in 2021, up 50% from the previous record, including $2.2 billion for US-based startups. So they are calling this the year of speech recognition in education with all this funding, and going to give you some great examples of what's going on right now. New York-based Bold Voice, by the way, all these companies I mentioned are going to be hiring people. And not every startup makes it, but a lot do. And even for the ones that don't, if you're early in your career, there's little risk to working at a startup, and you're going to learn more than you're going to learn at a big established company. You definitely will learn more. So anyway, how do I know that, by the way? Because I've worked in 2 startups, and I learned a lot in those environments. So Bold Voice raised $605,000 from Y Combinator as it attends the tech incubator. The company is working to help people learn and perfect their English and leverages AI to guide its lessons. So yes, AI-driven learning other languages. Next up, Sanas.ai Inc. raised $5.5 million to help people switch to and from different accents when they're speaking online. So with this technology, I could change my accent and mimic a Scot or a British or Australian, New Zealand. That's pretty wild stuff. And they raised $5.5 million, Sanas.ai. That's in Palo Alto, probably hiring right now. Israeli-based Verbit raised $31 million to provide classroom transcription and captioning services using its voice recognition software, which uses AI and adaptive algorithms. So this is mainstream education. AI is going to start targeting it. And what will this do? This will automatically transcribe what the teacher is saying so that you can have the notes in school. And the other AI we mentioned a while ago helps you to learn other languages. Captioning is for people who can't hear. So this is going to, a lot of these technologies have a huge upside for people with disabilities, which is so great. So if you're hearing impaired, this AI-driven captioning system in education will let you mainstream in education. That's very powerful, without sign language, by the way. Amira Learning raised $11 million to scale its intelligent reading assistant, a literacy app that reads along with students and corrects errors in real time, mirror learning, teaching people to read and correcting errors in real time. A teacher can't be around all the time to do that. This is 24/7. Next up, Vancouver-based Simbi, they're hiring, raised $460,000 and partnered with the UN High Commission for Refugees to advance its literacy program that promises reading fluency in only 3 months. You can tell from what I just said how powerful this is. They're teaching people who have been forced out of their homes and are living in tents in a foreign country in refugee status to read in 3 months. This is transformative. Transformative. And by the way, if you ever are inclined to want to help people, helping refugees is a great thing, if that interests you, because there are tens or hundreds of millions of displaced people globally who have been forced out of their native countries into refugee camps. This is so unfortunate. And if you're inclined to help, please do. But what you can see from all of this is that education is going to change very, very, very profoundly, very quickly. And over the next 20 years, this is not as short term as the very last video where I was talking about autonomous trucking and the fact that by 2025 that will start to impact employment in that industry. So, you know, education is much more institutionalized and structured and will take longer to change. So 20 years is a more realistic expectation, but by 2040, the education model in much of the world will have changed dramatically. Instead of going to sit in a classroom, AI-driven education at home, and then getting together as a class, not necessarily in a formal school building, but it could be anywhere for upskilling work beyond what you're learning from your AI. So anything is possible. Full disclosure, I am no expert in education. That what I just said is a wild guess, but it's clear that in 20 years from now, it's going to be very different, very different. It has the chance to help people enhance their natural skills as opposed to being taught broad spectrum of stuff, some of which you'll never use. It's a different approach to education. So we'll see how it plays out. And again, I'm no expert in education, but I certainly know enough about AI to know that no industry or institution is immune from the effects of AI, and that certainly includes education. On that subject, click the link below, register, get your free AI resource. From your registration, you will start to gradually get information about joining a beta group for free to help you pivot your career from what you're doing now to an AI-safe career. And for this beta group, which is only 5 people before we start charging it for it, I personally am going to walk you through every step of the program. And that's my promise to the beta group. And then after that, there's short instructional videos, but there'll be a little more of that. And I won't be interacting with each student like that. So I'm looking forward to doing this with the beta group. So jump in. Thank you, take care, and we'll see you next time.